Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. My name is Jerald Simon, and I am the host of this podcast. And every single week, we come out with a brand new podcast that we release every Monday, and it's a great way to get a little excitement and motivation for the upcoming week. I try to share messages that inspire and motivate individuals of all ages to do and be their best and continually strive to be better. So I would love to have you subscribe to my podcast. It is Music, Motivation, and More, the Positivity Podcast with Jerald Simon. So I'd love to have you subscribe to it, and then you can leave a review. You can read the other 5-star reviews that we have. But I'm so excited every week to share these podcasts of hope, of inspiration, of motivation. And I am continually striving to do everything I can to help spread peace and positivity. That is the entire purpose of this podcast, is to share peace and positivity with others. And I do that with music I've composed, with poetry that I've written, and also with motivational self-help talks that I just share every week. Different subjects, different topics, but it's all about being our best and striving to continually be better today than we were yesterday. Today's podcast is titled Conquer Thyself, and it's a talk about self-conquest, so to speak. I think we all know what it means when you are conquering your enemies or conquering your foes. But what does it mean to conquer yourself? And I think that's the big question. How do we learn about self-conquest, and why should we even learn about self-conquest? So the question I would ask everyone is, what is self-conquest? And why should we focus on conquering ourselves? To start off with, for our positive perceptions for today, I would actually like to read something I wrote titled Conquer Thyself, and it's found on page 36 from my book, Perceptions, Parables, and Pointers. So let me read this to you. This is what it says. Conquer thyself. Self-conquest is often referred to as self-mastery, self-discipline, and self-control. We must control ourselves, our thoughts, our speech, our actions, and our habits, both good and bad. No one can control another person. We control ourselves and must act and not react. Do something every day to develop and strengthen your self-control. Remember, you are in control of you. No one else has that responsibility or privilege. If you think about it, self-control is really about learning how to control our reaction, our response to what other people do or don't do. Self-control is learning how to subdue our passions, control our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings. We control how we react or respond to any situation. We can't control another person. We cannot control what they think, what they say, what they do. But we can control how we respond and how we think about what they have said, how we speak about what they have spoken. See, we cannot control other people. We cannot control destinies. We cannot control dynasties. We cannot control kings and queens. We cannot control paupers. We cannot control the masters or slaves or those who feel as if they are enslaved to themselves or enslaved to their society. Because you see, what happens is we have a divine responsibility. And that responsibility is to take action. But it is also to be responsible for the actions we take. To conquer ourselves means that we learn how to control ourselves. Now, this might mean learning how to control our temper, learning how to control our tongue, because often people will say things, they will fly off the handle, and they will speak without first thinking. But if we learn how to control ourselves, we will think before we speak. Those thoughts that we think will help us not only to control our tongue, but to see the other person, to see their thoughts, their views, their perspective. And we must first, to quote Stephen R. Covey, seek first to understand, then to be understood. As we understand other people, as we can see their stance, their thoughts, their views, their position, if we will put ourselves in their shoes and in their place, we then will have a greater capacity to have empathy. We will respect their thoughts and their views, because we know we cannot change their thoughts and their views, and we should not try to change someone else's thoughts or views. All we can do is to think what we think, believe what we believe, but we have no ability to influence others. See, that then becomes manipulation. In the media and throughout the world, there is a lot of talk right now about mandates and governments and companies who are forcing people to do things that they do not want to do. Forcing and compelling people, either by fear or trying to revoke certain privileges. And even if we don't believe what someone else believes, or we don't think as they think, if we are trying to force them to think as we think, to believe what we believe, that is then when, instead of inspiration, it becomes manipulation. Instead of inspiring people to do something, we manipulate them to do something, and it actually is more destructive because it takes away someone's free will, their agency. If we force people to do things against their will, then we are enslaving them, either to a societal standard, or we are enslaving them to our perception, our thoughts, our views. Even if we try to tell them it is for the good of humanity, we are still forcing people to do what they should not do. We cannot condemn. We cannot criticize. We cannot shame people and try to put people in a powerless position where they are doing things they do not want to do because the big bully on the playground is telling them that if they don't do what they are asked to do, then they will be beaten up by the other bullies. And it's interesting because that is not learning how to conquer ourselves. That is trying to be a conquistador and to conquer others. You know, if you think about it, there are many individuals throughout the world and throughout history who learned how to conquer everyone. You think of Alexander the Great and how he went about conquering nation after nation, but he could not conquer one person, and that primary person he could not conquer was Alexander the Great. See, we must learn how to control our own passions. We must learn how to control our thoughts, our actions. We must do things not because others are telling us or forcing us to do things, but because we want to. The truly successful man or woman in life will go about being successful and accomplishing, setting goals and doing what they hope to accomplish because they have decided that is what they want to do. And then they will make their decisions accordingly, where they will go to bed earlier if they need to. They will wake up earlier if they need or want to. They will stop watching so much TV and start reading more books. They will see that they are lacking in some areas where they need to have more education, or they would like to increase their spirituality. You see, what happens is when an individual feels empowered because they have empowered themselves, that is when they see a mighty change. Not only a change of heart, but a change in their thinking, a change in their mind, a change in the way they view the world. If we will conquer ourselves, that is when we can truly go about conquering our demons, our fears, our pains, our problems. We can go about doing good because we have decided that is what we want to do. For the Motivation in a Minute portion of this podcast, I would like to read He Who Conquers Others, and this is from page 189 from my book, Perceptions, Parables, and Pointers, and it's a quote by Lao Tzu. It says, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself, or herself I might add, is mighty." And that is what we're talking about, trying to conquer ourselves. For the Music Within portion of this podcast, I would like to have you listen to Reflection. This is from The Dawn of a New Age. It's an album I came out with. Let me know what you think about this. Now for fun, I'd like to have you listen to something new. And this is brand new. I just barely released this. It's a brand new album I came out with, and it just went live on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, all of the different iHeartRadio, all of the different streaming platforms. It's a new album titled Peace and Serenity. And so right now, I would like to have you listen to one of these pieces from the book Peace and Serenity. And the one I would like to have you listen to, I actually have created a YouTube video of this as well. It is titled Woodland Brook. I have a piano book for this. Those of you who have purchased the piano book, you can find it on Amazon or my music motivation website, musicmotivation.com. But it's on page 21, Woodland Brook. So I'd like to have you listen to Woodland Brook right now. You can also watch a YouTube video I created for this on my YouTube channel, and that is youtube.com/Jerald Simon. I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch my various YouTube videos I've created. Listen to Woodland Brook. Let me know what you think. For the Poetry That Motivates portion of this podcast, I would like to read a poem I wrote titled Conquer Thyself. And this is found on page 75 in my book, Poetry That Motivates. And you can find that book on Amazon.com. But let me read this to you. This is what it says. Conquer thyself. Self-conquest is a noble quest, an adventurous journey to take. But most live life as if they were the guest, and their selfish pursuits make them seem quite fake. Faith moves us forward, while fear moves us back. Light continually illuminates us, while darkness perpetually blinds us. Conquer thyself, and to thine own self be true. But be true to the goodness in others too. Self-conquest cannot consume oneself. It should not overshadow one's will to live. Be true to the best that is within yourself, and think of what you to life can give. Now, if you think about it, it's very interesting, because when we start to think about how we can conquer ourselves and what steps we can take to start conquering ourselves, first and foremost, we need to think about what we would like to improve about ourselves. What can we possibly do to be better today than we were yesterday? Every day we are striving to be better. That is the goal, where we can do a little more each day to improve. With this podcast, every week I would like to give you 5 actionable steps that you can start to do today to change, to improve, and to be your best. So these are the 5 actionable steps, how we all can start the process of conquering ourselves, and we can be continually in the pursuit of self-conquest. Step 1, self-control, its kingship and majesty. That is a book I recommend you read. It is by William George. It's a wonderful book. So read Self-Control, Its Kingship and Majesty by William George. That will give you clarity. The way William George has put together different aspects about how we can improve as we are journeying down this long road of self-control and self-conquest, you will really enjoy that book. Again, that book is titled Self-Control, Its Kingship and Majesty by William George. Step 2. If you have not yet read As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, I would recommend reading As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Step 3. I would have you choose one weakness and start working on it. Only choose one weakness for now. If you are like most of us, we can probably sit down and come up with 100 weaknesses we all have. Because often we are much more critical about ourselves than we are others. But I would like to have you look at yourself and see what one weakness is that you may have that you would like to begin working on. For me, I often talk too much. I'll be honest. And in part, it's because I do a lot of motivational speaking. I'm speaking in groups. I'm speaking in front of piano teachers or piano students. And so I do a lot of talking. And if I'm going to be honest, I enjoy talking. But I need to work on listening more and speaking less. There is a wonderful, wonderful world of silence. And I need to work on listening more and allowing others to speak more, because that may be a weakness they have, where I allow them to share their thoughts, their ideas, stories, where they can practice speaking more. 4, make a list of a good habit you'd like to develop. Now, this is not a good habit you already have. That is wonderful to have a list of good habits that you already have, but I would like to have you keep a list of good habits you would like to develop, and then start working toward that. And then 5, I would recommend that you do 2 things. Exercise every day this week, and then read every day this week. And I'm not going to set a limit or tell you how long to exercise or how many hours or how many books or pages from a book you should be reading every week. But this week, make it a goal every day to exercise and read every single day. So that is what I would like to have you work on, and we can practice, and we can start working on that. But let's have you do those 5 actionable steps to take today to start working on self-control, and that will help you with your self-conquest. Remember, step 1, read Self-Control, Its Kingship and Majesty by William George. Step 2, read the book As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Step 3, choose one weakness and start working on it today. Step 4, make a list of a good habit you'd like to develop and start working toward developing that good habit. And then step 5, every day this week, do 2 things, exercise and read. And as you exercise every day and as you read every day, you will see a change come over you. By exercising, you will have more energy. By reading more, you will enhance your mind and your ability to learn, to comprehend. As you increase your intelligence and as you learn to love learning, that knowledge will help you improve and progress in every area of your life. So those are the 5 steps I would like to have you take starting today to make a difference in your life. It's your life, and you deserve to have the best life possible. Have fun. Enjoy everything you are doing. Learn and grow. I can't wait for your personal success. These are stepping stones along the way that we take, and one of those stepping stones is learning how to conquer yourself. It's self-conquest. So, do your best, be your best, and continually strive to be better each and every day. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. I hope this has helped. Every week, I would like to inspire and motivate and share stories and share these actionable steps that you can take every week, that as you apply these steps in your life, you will start to see a change. You will notice that what you are doing is making a difference. And it's making a difference not only in your life, but in the lives of those around you. That your neighbors and family and friends, they will see the change that is taking place. You may be the good example that your children are looking up to, because they see that you are actively trying to learn and grow and be better. No one's perfect. I'm not saying that we should strive for perfection, because no one will ever achieve or obtain perfection here in this life. It's not going to happen. So we should not even try to be perfect, because no one is perfect. But we can continually be improving, and that is what we should all do, where we can look at ourselves and say, I'm trying. That's all. I'm trying to be better, and I'm trying to do the best I can. So thanks again for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Do your best in all you do, but thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. See you. Bye. My name is Jerald Simon. I am the founder of Music Motivation. I'm also the creator of the Essential Piano Exercise course. You can learn more about that at essentialpianoexercises.com. And Essential Piano Lessons. We have weekly group online piano lessons that I teach to piano students all around the world. We have 3 separate piano lessons. One for beginners, it's known as the apprentice stage. One for early intermediate piano students, and that is known as the maestro stage. And then we have one for late intermediate to advanced piano students, and that is known as the virtuoso stage. So I would love to have you learn more about my piano lessons. You can go to essentialpianolessons.com to learn more about my weekly online group piano lessons that I teach. And then you can also sign up for my Essential Piano Exercise course at essentialpianoexercises.com. I'd love to have you check those out. I would love to have you check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jerald Simon. JERALD SIMON. Again, that is youtube.com/Jerald Simon. I have videos, hundreds of videos on there that I'd love to have you watch and share with family and friends. You can listen to my music on any of the streaming platforms available. All of my music can be found on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio. But I'd love to have you check out my music. You can search for my name, Jerald Simon, Jerald Simon. And then you can find any of my motivational self-help books that I have created, some of the ones that I read from this podcast. I have a poetry book titled Poetry That Motivates. I have another poetry book titled The As If Principle, Motivational Poetry. And then I have a book titled Perceptions, Parables, and Pointers. And I have another book titled Who Are You? And we use that in my Who Are You self-help course that I've created. So I'd love to have you check those out. Those are available from Amazon.com. You can find them at BarnesandNoble.com, or you can find them at any of the big box stores. If you go to Walmart.com, Target.com, you can find my books there. But I would love to have you check those books out. Let me know what you think. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week. See you guys.